This video contains sensitive topic, language, and graphics that may not be suitable for young viewers. Parental guidance is advised. Little monster skilled at child. The James Bulger murder case. James Patrick Bulger, age 2, was kidnapped, tortured, and killed on February 12, 1993 in Merseyside by 10-year-old boys, Robert Thompson and Jon Venables. His mother had looked aside for a while, but then Thompson and Venables escorted Bulger out of the Bootle New Strand shopping centre. 2 days later, his mutilated body was discovered in Walton, Liverpool, on a train track 2.5 miles distant. A charge of kidnapping and murder was brought against Thompson and Venables on February 20, 1993, the youngest convicted killers in modern British history. They were found guilty on November 24th, sentenced to be held without charge or trial for as long as Her Majesty saw fit. They were held prisoner until June 2001, when the parole board commended their release at the age of 18 on a life lease. In November 2017, Venables was sent back to prison for having photographs of child sexual abuse on his computer. He had previously been freed on parole in 2013 after violating the terms of his license. In 2010, after his parole requests were denied, he will still be detained until 2023. On February 12, 1993, CCTV footage from the Bootle New Strand shopping centre captured Thompson and Venables idly watching kids and seemingly picking out a victim. The boys were habitually skipping school at their neighbourhood primary school. Thompson and Venables were caught stealing a variety of goods over the day, including candy, batteries, a troll doll, and a can of blue Humbrol modelling paint. Later, one of the boys come clean about their plans to kidnap a child, take him to the major road next to the mall, and shove him into the oncoming traffic. In the afternoon of that day, Denise, accompanied by her 2-year-old son James Patrick Bulger, went to the New Strand shopping centre in Kirkby. While they were inside the shopping centre at Times Butcher's shop on the lowest floor, Denise released James' hand to pay for her shopping. However, when she turned around, her son was nowhere to be found, and she realized that he was missing at 15:40. At around 15:42, CCTV footage captured the moment when Thompson and Venables took Bulger by the hand and led him out of the retail centre. Thompson and Venables brought Bulger to the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, roughly 400 metres from the New Strand shopping centre, where they dumped him on his head, causing facial injuries. The boys laughed about shoving Bulger into the canal. An eyewitness stated that Bulger was crying his eyes out when he spotted him by the canal. The youngsters embarked on a 4-kilometre stroll across Liverpool. They were observed by around 38 individuals, but most spectators did not interfere. Thompson and Venables were confronted by 2 individuals, but they claimed Bulger was their brother, or that he was lost, and they were taking him to a police station. They brought Bulger into a pet shop, but were dismissed. Finally, the boys arrived at Walton. They paused at Walton Lane Police Station, across the road, before leading Bulger up a steep slope to a railway line, near the disused Walton and Anfield Railway Station, which is adjacent to Walton Park Cemetery. One of the youngsters flung the shoplifted blue paint into Bulger's left eye. They kicked him, trampled on him, and hurled rocks and stones at him. Batteries were put into Bulger's mouth. A 22-pound railway fish plate was thrown at him, causing 10 skull fractures. Bulger sustained 40 injuries, none of which were linked to the fatal blow, according to pathologist Alan Williams, in the hopes that a train would strike Bulger and his death would be declared an accident. Thompson and Venables placed him across the railroad tracks and weighted his head down with debris. A group of children found Bulger's decapitated body 2 days later. According to a forensic pathologist's testimony, Bulger passed away before the train hit him. Bulger's shoes, socks, pants, and underwear were all taken off, leading police to believe that the boys had abused him. When investigators and a child psychiatrist, Eileen Visit, questioned Thompson and Venables about this part of the attack, the two refused to comment, visiting and revisiting the issue with John. As a child, and now as an adolescent, he gives no account of any sexual element to the offence, noted Venables psychiatrist Susan Bailey following his release from prison. Low-quality video footage of Bulger being kidnapped by 2 boys, who had not been recognised, was promptly discovered by the police after his corpse was found. Hundreds of bouquets of flowers were placed on the railway embankment. One youngster was arrested for interrogation and then freed, but his family was forced to leave the city because of threats from vigilantes. A woman identified Venables and recalled seeing him play truant with Thompson in the Bootle area that day after viewing slightly altered photos of the 2 boys on national television. This was the turning point. After she called the police, the boys were taken into custody. Detective Superintendent Oliver Kirby of Merseyside Police led the investigating team, and they were startled to see how young the suspects in James Bulger's murder were. The boys, Thompson and Venables, matched Bulger's upper body details when they were discovered with blood on their shoes and the same blue paint on their clothes. They were accused of the murder and made an appearance at South Sefton Youth Curtain February 22, 1993. Thompson questioned police about whether Bulger had been transferred to the hospital to get him alive again following their trial and subsequent sentencing to be imprisoned at Her Majesty's pleasure. They were kept in security facilities awaiting trial. In 1993, 2 boys, James Thompson and James Venables, were convicted of murdering a young boy named James Bulger. The trial began at Sessions House in Preston, where they denied charges of murder, abduction, and attempted abduction. The boys were separated from their parents, but were within touching distance when their families attended the trial. The European Court of Human Rights criticised the demeanour of defendants, who were later ruled not to have received a fair trial by being tried in public in an adult court. The court considered the boys capable of mischievous discretion, meaning an ability to act with criminal intent, as they were mature enough to understand that they were doing something seriously wrong. A child psychiatrist, Eileen Visit, interviewed Thompson before Thetrill, and Susan Bailey, the Home Office's forensic psychiatrist, confirmed that he knew the difference between right and wrong. Thompson and Venables did not speak during the trial, and the case against them was based on over 20 hours of tape-recorded police interviews. The prosecution admitted several exhibits during the trial, including a box of 27 bricks, a blood-stained stone, Bulger's underpants, and a rusty iron bar. The pathologist detailed the injuries sustained by Bulger, including extensive brain damage and hemorrhage. The boys, now aged 11, were found guilty of Bulger's murder. At the Preston Court on November 24, 1993, Justice Morland sentenced them to be detained at Her Majesty's pleasure with a minimum term of 8 years. At the end of the trial, the judge lifted reporting restrictions and allowed the names of the killers to be released, stating that there was a need for an informed public debate on crimes committed by young children. After the trial of 2 boys, Thompson and Venables, who were convicted of murder, Lord Taylor of Gosforth recommended a minimum sentence of 8 years. The Home Secretary, Michael Howard, was criticised for increasing time spent in custody, leading to a 15-year minimum term. The House of Lords overturned this decision in 1997, stating it was unlawful for the Home Secretary to decide on minimum sentences for young offenders. The High Court of Justice and the European Court of Human Rights have since ruled that the trial judge is responsible for determining minimum terms in individual criminal cases. Tony Blair, then Shadow Home Secretary, criticised the case, stating that society needs to condemn a little more and understand a little less. The trial judge, Justice Moreland, suggested that exposure to violent videos might have encouraged the actions of Thompson and Venables, but David McLean, the Minister of State at the Home Office, disputed this. Some British tabloid newspapers claimed the attack on Bulger was inspired by the film Child's Play 3, but it was not established that Venables had ever watched it. The Criminal Justice and Public Order Act 1994 clarified the Rollison, the availability of certain types of video material to children. Thompson and Venables were held in separate secure care centres. After their trial, Thompson was held at Barton Moss Secure Care Centre in Manchester, while Venables was detained in Vardy House, the Red Bank Secure Unit in St Helens. The boys were taught to conceal their names and crimes, leading to their detention. Venables' parents visited him every 3 days at Red Bank, and despite initial difficulties, he made good progress at Red Bank. Both boys suffered post-traumatic stress disorder, with Venables experiencing nightmares and flashbacks of the murder. In 1999, Thompson and Venables, two young boys, appealed to the European Court of Human Rights, claiming their trial was unfair due to their young age. The court dismissed their claims of inhumane treatment, but upheld their claim of a fair trial. The Strasbourg Court ruled that the trial violated Article 6 of the European Convention on Human Rights, stating that the public trial process in an adult court must be regarded as an intimidating procedure. Bulger's parents appealed to the European Court of Human Rights, but failed to convince the court that a victim has the right to be involved in determining the perpetrator's sentence. The case led to the reduction of the minimum sentence from 10 to 8 years, and the boys were released on lifelong license after serving 8 years. They were given new identities and moved to secret locations under a witness protection-like program. The terms of their release included restrictions on contact, visiting the Merseyside region, curfews, and reporting to probation officers. A court injunction was imposed on the media after the trial, preventing the publication of details about Thompson and Venables.